The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
We are excited to welcome you to our Habits of Health community time. This is the deal. I like to think of community a little bit like vitamin C. Vitamin C boosts our immunity against infections, the flu, colds, things like that. And when it comes to us trying to change our habits, which is what we do in this community, when it comes to lifestyle modification, there are a couple of infections that threaten to derail us. And those infections are called things like complacency and discouragement. And I like to think of community as the vitamin C that boosts our immunity against those things. And so we are so excited to welcome you to our Habits of Health community night. February is Heart Health Month. And we're going to be talking about matters of the heart. What is it that you love most? With it being Heart Health Month, we want to touch on not only what is it that keeps our heart beating longer, but also what is it that makes our heart skip a beat? What is it that makes life really worth living? And as my co-host said so eloquently, health is the bridge between our physical heart and our emotional heart. And I'm excited to dive into that topic today. My name is Donni Alvarenga, and I have been an OPTAVIA coach for the past 9 years. And if we're talking about what is it that makes our heart skip a beat, I'm going to tell you what. The people on the screen are those that make my heart skip a beat. That is my family. I have 9-year-old twins, and they keep life fun. I would love for you to type into the chat, what is one thing that makes your heart skip a beat? This is what happened. If you had asked me when I was 7 years old what I wanted to be when I grow up, I would have told you that I wanted to be a mom. And finally, the day came where I became a mom. I had been looking forward to this for my entire life. And after my twins were born, I went on to gain 50 pounds in a 9-month period of time after they were born. So I had been looking forward to the opportunity to create memories with my babies, with my children, and yet I was drained. I had absolutely no energy to enjoy them. And not only did I not have time to enjoy them, but the other piece of it was that I was so embarrassed of where I was at that I would hide from the camera. So not only did I not enjoy them, but I had no evidence that I was even there. And fortunately for me, somebody introduced me to the gift of OPTAVIA, and I was able to lose 50 pounds. And what that has meant is that I can not only keep up with my kids, but I could fit into the playground. I could chase them over netting and other play areas. And so thanks to my focusing on my physical heart, I have been able to create memories with my family. And that's what we're going to dive in today. And I'm excited to introduce you to one of my mentors, Dr. Joe Pecoraro. Welcome, Dr. Joe.
Well, thanks so much, Donni. And I know some people look at that photo of me, that before picture, and they think I'm kind of floating in air, but I'm in fact not. I'm sitting on a piling from a dock. And one of the things that you know that is always been a passion for me has been the mission work that we do. And you can look at that one picture of me where I'm gigantic. And my physical heart, I can tell you, was beating at a pace of about 80 beats per minute. And that is way more than it is now. But the thing is traveling internationally and really being able to do the things that I wanted to do, the things that really I felt called to do in my heart, became difficult because, I mean, look at that guy. Only certain airplanes could get a seatbelt that could fit around him without asking for an extension, which was something I never wanted to do. And a lot of times too, like as I had shared with you, is when I was, I noticed on the mission field, because of my size, that for the first time I realized that our weight affected those around us as well. It's not just a personal thing. Much like a cigarette smoker doesn't realize that secondhand smoke is affecting other people, so too the obesity that we experience has a ripple effect to the families, those who are closest to us, and our friends as well. I think, Donnie, if I'm not mistaken, it's probably time for a poll.
Yes, yes. We've just introduced ourselves and we are curious to find out who is it that is joining us. Are you an OPTAVIA coach, or are you a client, or are you a guest? We would love to know. So today we're going to be talking a little bit, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about what is it that makes our heart skip a beat, you know, as we talk about heart health. What I know is this, is that no matter what it is that you're striving for in terms of success in life, there's 3 areas that must line up. And the first one is our mindset. Our mindset is the belief systems that we have that set us up for whatever actions we're going to take. The next piece is our skill sets. That's when we're intentional, a specific framework, a specific strategy to achieve a specific goal. And then obviously there's the action steps, which is where we implement those skill sets. Now, whenever we want a new outcome in life, you know, let's think about our computers, for example. If you are joining us via a Zoom camera, you might be thinking, okay, I want to be able to access a video conference. Well, if you want your computer to create a new output where you see what somebody else is doing on the other side of the camera, you need to actually input a new software into that computer. So if you want new output, you need new input. And that's where everything begins. Everything begins and ends between the ears. And that's what our Habits of Health transformational system is all about. It's about us reprogramming our operating system, the operating system up here. And it has the book and the life book and the app. And if you have not yet dove into this system, then I invite you to do that. You are absolutely missing a huge part of the transformation that OPTAVIA can offer. And so I invite you to pick up your phone right now and text your coach if you don't have one, to let them know, how do I get this? Now the app you can actually download and it's free. It's the Habits of Health app, and it will help guide you every step of the way to help you with reprogramming the operating system, change the input so that we can change the output. So February is Heart Health Month. And actually, heart disease is the #1, it's the leading cause of death in the United States today. Dr. Joe, as a physician and as a surgeon, how is it that you saw heart disease affecting people's ability to really enjoy life and do the things that mattered most to them?
Well, Donnie, as the slide shows, our BMI, our body mass index, is associated with heart risk. And the increased risk of heart failure, by every point of a BMI increase, that increases by 5% in men, and it increases by 7% in women. To put that in perspective, before I got started on the OPTAVIA program, I had a BMI of 47 plus. So that essentially had my risk of heart failure doubled from normal. Now that my BMI is closer to normal, I've basically cut that risk in half. And that's why BMI is important, because people have to understand that heart failure is not a fun thing. This is the pump that keeps us going. It's as we said before, health is the bridge between the physical heart and the emotional heart. But at the same time, what we need to understand is that what do we care about? Because some people with such severe heart failure are so focused on themselves, they don't have time to think about who or what's important to them. Because at that point, the only thing important is staying alive. So when people start thinking about what's important in your life, or who is important in your life, just as you spoke about your family, and I spoke about not just my family, but people on the mission field that we see. Let's see how it plays out in real life. I'd love for everyone to meet Lisa Whaley and hear Lisa's story, because Lisa perfectly encompasses both of those areas.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Joe and Donnie, for letting me come on and share my story. And when I found out that this topic was going to be health is a matter of the heart, that literally is my story. It started 14 years ago, and I found myself a busy mom. I was raising 4 little girls. I was homeschooling. I'd gotten myself in a place that was very unhealthy. I had gained some weight. I had no energy, and I was very tired. I had just went to the doctor, and the doctor had just put me on blood pressure medicine. And so therefore, I was not in a good place. My family is full of heart disease. My grandparents, my father had his first bypass surgery at 40. And right before I had found myself in that place, about a year before I found it, my brother, who was 4 years older than I, lost his life by a heart attack. So I was on that track. It was only a matter of time. So at this time that I was not doing so well, my mother, who's a nurse, she had come to me and she said, Lisa, that she had told me that she was going on a program. And of course, I'll be honest with you, that wasn't the first time that we ever heard that she was going to go on a program. So, but she did hop on this program, and transformation totally started to take place. My mom lost 80 pounds. She got her energy back. She was a completely different person. She even called herself a rock star, so that should tell you. She was pretty transformation. She did a total transformation. Well, I knew that was probably what I needed to do. So I got on OPTAVIA. I lost 45 pounds. I was like Donnie. I had twins, kept me busy. I had to lose that 45 pounds. I lost 45 pounds. I had energy. I felt better than I ever felt my whole entire life. And it totally changed my life. And coming from a family with heart disease, I had no choice. Fast forward about 7 years ago, my family and we were doing foster care, and we got a little baby in our home, 3 weeks old. And we were supposed to have this little guy for about a month, where the month turned into several months. And after that, they had come to me, and my husband and I, and they asked if we would consider adopting this little boy. Now, I was 46 years old, but I'll be honest with you, I had a lot of energy. I had a lot of I desired to parent this little boy even at 46, because I'll be honest with you, I felt better at 46 than I did at 39. So we went ahead and said yes, and we adopted this little guy. By 13 months, he was adopted into our family. He makes my heart skip. He has become the child in our family that has given our family purpose. And I know that if they would have asked me back 14 years ago to do this, I would have had to say no. But it is so awesome to know that that decision that I made 14 years ago was going to play into what I did later in life. And I'm so, so grateful for the opportunity to be able to parent not just my 4 older daughters now, but this little guy. He really helps me keep the micro habit of motion. So that's good. And also, this little guy has given our family a lot of purpose. And when we go back to what is important in life, it's this kind of thing. It's relationships. And we are so excited, and I am so blessed to be the mother of this little boy. And I'm so blessed that OPTAVIA came into our lives when it did, starting with my mom, going to me, and then many, many family members. It was definitely a ripple effect. So we're excited to celebrate Healthy Heart Month because it's so important to get our health back on track. So thank you so much for letting me share.
I love that, Lisa. You know, Dr. A says that all things are possible if we're willing to use and the microhabit installation, right? And in element 3 of the life book, he talks about a framework to help us create whatever reality we want to create. Wherever you are, that's your current reality. And wherever you want to be, there are steps you can take to get there. And the structural tension framework creates a path. It creates, as I mentioned, a framework to guide us to whatever that place is where you can experience life more fully. Now, Dr. Joe, you alluded to a heart for missions. That is something that's important to you. Would you be willing to share a little bit? You also talked about how it could impact others. How was it that your current reality 14 years ago almost threatened for you to be able to enjoy the things that matter most to you?
Yeah, that's really something, Donni, because when the ripple effect, like Lisa talked about, I think about how the ripple effect of what we do that's bad goes one direction, but really when we do something good, it can send out as well. And as I was telling you, is we were one time on a mission trip to Guatemala, and at the time, I know there's people who will be hearing this on podcasts. So at 5'6" and 300 pounds, it was my goal for us to have a fun day where we did something enjoyable. So I said to the missionary, hey, why don't we climb the volcano? And she was wearing a lab coat at the time. And I kid you not, she turned as white as her lab coat. And I said, well, what's wrong? And she said, well, we had somebody one time, we were doing that and they had a heart attack and died on the side of the mountain. Well, I can tell you, at that moment, I realized I'm willing to die for my faith, but I don't want to die because I have some kind of a silly love affair with food. And so at that point, I realized that it was something that even though I wasn't ready, I kind of tucked that back in my memory banks. And I remember that later when I really was ready, because I'm the youngest of 6 kids. And my father had heart disease. My oldest brother had a stroke. My next brother had high triglycerides. My next brother had a stents in his heart. And I did not want to be one of those statistics. So I took the bull by the horns before any of those things happened and said yes to OPTAVIA and yes to losing 123 pounds. And if not for these habits of health, I can be pretty sure I would have been back up again to where I was and might not even be here today.
That's incredible, Dr. Joe. So in terms of the structural tension, your current reality at the bottom was you were at the bottom of that volcano. And what would you say your current reality was at that point?
At that point was probably willing to die for faith, but not climb a volcano if I thought that was going to kill me.
And what was your desired reality?
To really have optimal health, get healthy enough to be able to travel internationally comfortably, to not kind of sweat it when I had to get in and see if the seatbelt could fit, because I was determined not to have to ask for an extension. And
so the framework of structural tension allows us to kind of organize our macro habits. So we knew where you were and we knew where you wanted to be. And so what were some of those steps that you implemented in between where you were to where you wanted to be?
Well, I can tell you the number one step was saying yes to this program, because it's so well structured. And as a physician that saw a lot of heart disease and peripheral vascular disease, I knew that there was a big problem in this country. And so I love the way we introduce these micro habits, because the skill set, we always have to ask, is it appealing? Is it achievable? And is it easy to activate? And so when I had my patients, quite a few had vascular disease in their legs, and I had to get them to walk in order to improve their circulation. And I would tell them, I'd say, let's start simple. Start with, during a commercial, walk to the door and then walk back, if that's as far as you can walk. Do that for a week, then work your way up. Walk out to the mailbox, then walk back. And so what's happening during that time, okay, that is very achievable if they make it a distance that they can achieve. Is it appealing? Well, I would tell them to put kind of in the back of their mind that, that they would be able to walk further, because most of them wanted to be able to walk with their kids or their grandkids and to be able to go to Disney World or do things like that. And so they knew that that was their goal, but it was going to take baby steps. And so the activation for many of them would be a commercial on TV, or for others, it would be when the mail truck comes by, then I know I'm going to go out to get the mail. And so it's these little micro habits where we have the activation step, and the plus that you see in the slide there, for those of you who are listening on podcasts, we take a micro habit, we add what we call consistency and a plus. A plus is where you walk to the door, but you know you can walk a little further. So on days you feel good, you walk a little further, maybe even twice as far. And given enough time, that will become a routine. And that's really what a habit is. A habit is a routine. Now, we know that the average number of days it takes to create a habit is 66 days. The old thinking was 21 days. We know that that's not true. And again, even with an average of 66 days, we have to keep in mind that if you touch a hot stove once, it's not going to take you 66 times to learn that. But other habits will take longer than 66 days. So don't think, oh, my 66 days is up. It's real. Recognize that, do whatever it takes to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve in the time that it'll take for you to achieve it. Ready for another poll, I think, Donnie.
Yes, I love everything that you just said, Dr. Joe. I love how you connected with your patients. They wanted to be able to walk with their kids at Disney. So you were connecting their action to their desired reality. And so in our poll, we're curious to find out, are you ready to install a new micro habit of health? The first option is, yes, I am fully committed and I'm ready to start. Or, yes, but I'm having difficulty identifying the micro habit to install. Or, yes, but I'm concerned I won't do it consistently. Or, no, ask me next week. This is wherever you are with your decision with micro habits. I invite you to connect back with your coach to kind of explore, what is that desired reality? Let's plug all of the pieces into the framework that we call structural tension, so that we can identify, what is that next step? What is the first micro habit of health that would be most effective to get you where it is that you want to go? And once you decide what that is, follow your routine. So once again, I invite you to actually text your coach right now. Let them know, what is it that makes your heart skip a beat? Let them know that you want more of that in your life. So I'd love to see what our poll results are. Let's take a look at that. All right, so we had 64% of our participants that are fully committed and ready to get started. That's wonderful. 18% are having a little difficulty identifying. 16% are a little concerned they're not going to do it consistently. And 2% want us to ask them next week. Now, wherever you are, as I mentioned, that's just where you are, and that's okay. Now, for those of you that are a little bit concerned about the consistency factor, that is what's so beautiful about this entire system that we use. It's not only on you. We have 4 separate tools that support you. So whether you're unable to identify which habit you want to install, plug in with your coach. They're there to help you identify that. If you're looking for the consistency, plug into your coach, plug into the community, because they will support you in every step of the way. And when you know that you're not alone, and when you make it simple enough, remember that is one of the critical elements that Dr. Joe talked about. Is it achievable and is it simple enough? And sometimes it's just a matter of us making it just simple enough, and you will do it consistently. Connect with what your end goal is, and you will do it consistently. If it's important enough to you, if it's something that will make your heart skip a beat, you will. So we're curious to find out, how did you enjoy our community time today? We want to make sure that you are gaining value from these meetings that we join together. Did you know that this recording, this video will be available as a recording on our OPTAVIA YouTube channel? If you go onto the OPTAVIA YouTube channel and subscribe, you will get a notification when the video is updated or uploaded. We want to know, what is it about the videos that is speaking to you? How is it adding value to your journey? Go ahead and leave us a comment. And by the way, there is an archive. There's a library of so much brain food. I like to talk to my clients and say, as intentional as you are about feeding your body, it's equally important that you feed your mind. And I'm going to tell you what, if you go onto the OPTAVIA YouTube channel, you're going to get a feast of some brain food. And you can also access these on your favorite podcast player. So you can listen to them as you drive. No extra time required. Now, I'd love to take this opportunity to invite you to our event next week. You are in for a special treat. Amber Smithson is going to be on speaking about one of my favorite elements, which is building a healthy mindset. As I mentioned to you guys, everything begins and ends between the ears, and unless we can get that space healthy, it's very difficult to get the rest of it healthy. So you will not want to miss next week.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.